How we at? Where we at?
We're almost live. We might actually be live. We don't even know we're live.
Tagged anybody?
We tagging
How we looking on that? Oh shit.
2, 1. Go live. Go live.
That's what it is, right? There she go. Ready to roll with that, huh? Bringing me back to like some younger days, man. Everybody's loving this all of a sudden, right?
Keep playing. They want to hear the second verse.
I don't know how long I can go in here before we get like censored in here.
We want to hear the whole song. Tell us about it. Oh, there she goes.
Yeah, the lyrics start getting a little bit offensive at this point. I gotta take it down.
Sea lions were
when the shake that rear end garden tool starts coming up, I gotta be really careful, man. But we back at it, y'all. Saints and Sinners cast back here on a Monday afternoon. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Pels are on in Memphis, taking on the Grizzlies. Before we get started, I know Cisco has a date for us.
It is 1, 20, 20, 20.
That's right. That's right. That's right. All right. I think we're good. See, I think we're good, man. I think we're good. We're all good in the wood.
Got the gat.
Yeah, man. What's up with that, dude? This is like a huge thing. I mean, you know, the Tigers did it at the White House. I mean, everybody was interested in who the lady was. It's an ex, player's wife. I'm not sure. I think she's got some kind of political ties to Washington or something like that. Bordelon, Jimmy Bordelon, I think is her name. Her identified video, because everybody's like, "Who's this lady dancing before the players?" But pretty cool little video. But this little Elt. We were just joking about this before the air. This was like a song we jammed to back in like the 90s, I believe. Like, wasn't this like a high school like dance song kind of? I mean,
the jam.
I mean the lyrics. Nobody feels lyrics with Tupac and Biggie's work, but it's a damn catchy song, man. So we need to get Lil Elt in the parish, maybe, right?
It's a damn catchphrase. Some of the other stuff may offend people.
I think we may have found an opening act for
I'm not
PNC that night.
But some people in the audience may be offended and may get kicked off of Facebook for playing some of these words.
Yeah, hey, look, man, I see people getting murdered on Facebook. I see this lady at Walmart cursing everyone out in the store at like maximum voice level, but we can get kicked off for one little weird thing. It's crazy. What you got there, man? I see you speculating. Man, Pels on, y'all. Pels doing their thing. Pat, man, Pels off to a decent start. I mean, Grizzlies, going to be a good game. Ja Morant, second pick overall. It's going to be a heck of a game, man. They got to earn this. When Grizzlies are the 8th seed right now, they're 2 games under 500. Pels chasing a couple teams in the playoff race. Grizz is one of them.
By a draft pick that's actually doing something for him right now.
I mean, you can't take that stab on Zion. Zion's going to be here Wednesday, so Zion's going to shut the critics up Wednesday.
I'm wondering, should Pels have gotten somebody that didn't?
Nah, you go with Zion. You can't ignore the potential of what Zion could be. I love Ja Morant. You go back on these podcasts last year, and I was higher than anybody on Ja Morant. I think y'all even doubted me a little bit on what I saw from this kid out of Murray State. But this dude, he's a hell of a player. They have Jaren Jackson Jr., who's starting to emerge. Jonas Valanciunas, the veteran center, came over in the Gasol trade. He's playing very well, averaging a double-double on the season. This is a good team. Their coach looks like a guy that you wouldn't expect to coach a basketball team. He's just like an average Joe-looking guy. Taylor Jenkins, I don't even know much about Cat, to be honest with you, but he's doing a good job. Apparently, this team's playing good basketball. But that's a tough matchup, man, on a Monday afternoon on MLB Day, man. You got to take advantage of it, though. Team Jason.
So you think people are ready to get rid of Alvin Gentry now, or are they going to wait till after the season?
I mean, I think the Gentry talking, look, dude, I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of Alvin at times. He's like love or hate with me sometimes. But I think right now the team's playing really good ball. I mean, you're catapulting a few teams in the bottom west. You move up. I mean, you
love Alvin when they win it and don't like him so much when they lose.
No, let's be real. Alvin has his limitations. I've always talked about like the Rick Renteria Cubs thing going to Joe Madden. If you got the opportunity to find the Joe Madden, whether it's a vet coach that's out of the game, top level assistant, maybe a guy like we always talk about Fred Vinson from within, I think the change is going to come sooner than later. I think Griffin wants Zion. We put this in one of our articles on tailgate504.com a few weeks back. We want Zion to really come, guys like him in the kill, Alexander Walker, Jackson Hayes, the Laker babies, that we got, the Lakers, y'all like to call them, Ingram and Ball and Hart. We want those guys to come up in this environment. I think the problem, unless it just the wheels kept falling off the bus, I think Gentry fired, but let's be real, chances were it had to be really bad for him to get this year. I think they wanted a stable environment early on for these young guys, and Gentry is eventually going to step down.
And Mark Jackson of this situation.
Yeah, Steve Kerr, good point. I think that could happen.
It says Mark Jackson can't coach, so I don't know. Mark Jackson was really not very good at.
No, he wasn't. I mean, I like Alvin Gentry more. I like Mark Jackson's annoying, man. He's like the Collinsworth of basketball to me. I mean, if I hear hand down, man down, oh, that's that grown man again, mama. I mean, that dude. Look, I'll tell you, who's a really good basketball and football announcer who's supremely underrated is he looks high as a kite sometimes, but Harlan, man. I mean, not Harlan. What's his name?
Kevin Harlan?
No, is it what's the guy? Oh man, I'm having a blank. Oh no, what's his name? Kenny Albert. Kenny Albert's pretty good. Kenny Albert's pretty good. I think that's who I'm.
That's the issue we have.
Man, I'm going freestyle like I'm fucking about to take on Pac, man. But no, is it Harlan? Kevin Harlan? He's pretty good. Kevin Harlan's pretty good. That's the guy I'm thinking of. I always get him and Albert mixed up. I think they're the same person. It is Kevin Harlan. I'm having a blank, man. I'm looking at something. Kevin Harlan, no, really good announcer. I like, Van Gundy brings some good points, although he's got terrible taste in football teams. He brings up some good points.
We have a big Saints fan has a big question for us.
Bring him on in, man.
Anthony Harris wants to know what the Saints will do to get him over the hump this offseason.
Man, that's a good question, man. I think they got to manage that cap really stupid. We talked about the number 2 wide receiver thing. I think they got to go get another. Look, man, elephant in the room's there. You know what I mean? You got to go get another wide receiver. We tried to get past it with what we had. It's not working out. Best days for him or past him. Traquan, I like Traquan still, but I don't think you could put so much confidence into Traquan at this point.
The guy in the draft, even though we know
it could
the
be.
wide receiver position is one of the slowest developing.
See,
I mean, Mike Tyrus came up pretty.
Yeah, he's a rare.
That's more of the outlier than the exception.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's why I was looking at guys like Robbie Anderson, too expensive, or Devin's coming off injury, the clavicle injury, was put on IR week 1, but could have came back. Probably.
With the quarterback you had in place.
I think he could. I mean, jet system at all. I didn't like the quarterbacks he played with. I think Darnold could evolve into a decent quarterback. McCown, let's be real, he's not a very good quarterback. He did thrive with McCown. Darnold was a little scared to go downfield. And I don't think Darnold had the timing yet. Still, no. I think that's. I'm gonna get to that. I think Robbie. I don't think Robbie just thrives on that. I think Robbie can play on it. He's got a quick first step. I think he could be used in receiver screens. He can do on quick slants because of his size. He's 6'3" with length, and the dude's super fast. To me, the biggest thing we're missing is yards after the catch. And we were talking about like last week in the podcast. That was all the talk about San Francisco early on when they did actually throw the ball yesterday in the game. The whole 77 yards, like all in the first quarter, it felt like. But they were the yards after the catch, the run after the catch, like Deebo Samuel. That's what we've been missing. I think we need that kind of player.
Deebo's, built like a running back.
He is.
Not so much.
But you could be. There's a lot of builds. I mean, to me, it's all. Michael Thomas is great after the catch. He's not built like a true receiver. I mean, Robbie's thin, but I'm saying
a thin 6'3".
He is, but best. I mean, not everybody has to be built like Deebo's kind of a rarity. You don't see too many receivers built like him that are great after the catch. Most guys are pretty fleet of foot. I mean, if you got that durability, that size, great. But Robbie, man, that dude's hard to. He's hard to kind of. Ignore, you know what I'm saying, with what he's done. I mean, he's had some pretty good seasons with terrible quarterback play, with bad offensive management in New York. I like Funchess. I think the Colts could move on from Funchess. I mean, they have T.Y. Hilton. They have Paris Campbell, who used a high pick on this year. They got 2 tight ends that are capable with Ebron and Doyle. You know what I mean? They got Naheem Hines catches passes. So the Colts might not pursue Funchess. The areas they might pursue a quarterback in free agency. We hear about Teddy Bridgewater possibly going to Indianapolis. Some people say that could be, a situation. So they're not going to probably invest in Funchess. He's a guy that's intriguing as well. I don't like him as much as like Robbie, but I like that kind of poor man's Colston vibe that he's got with his size.
But is Teddy that much better than the guy they already paid money to? I mean, it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
They're linking. I mean, I'm not the one coming up with it. I'm just going on the news, man. I'm just. I mean, I think it's a whole subject, but as far as receivers go, no, I mean, I don't. I mean, that's not my. I've never come up with that. We didn't put it on our site, but I mean, I've heard that Bridgewater is kind of. People keep talking about Chicago, keep talking about Indianapolis. Miami's obviously still, if they decide to go, maybe not to go with that they could go. Yeah, Jacoby Brissett. I don't think Brissett's.
I don't think he's great, but I don't. Think
no, I don't at all.
I don't think
Teddy's. I think he's an upgrade over Brissett.
But then you come into the position you're going to be paying. $15.
They have a lot of cap space. They have a ton of cap space. So, I mean, I don't know if that's the way they look. I mean, I'm not saying – I'm just – that's basically the long and short of it. I don't want to get into all the other stuff. But Devin Funchess would be available. To me, Robbie Anderson, they're saying –
Pascal might become available too. He's another guy
He's interesting. I mean, but I want a real proven guy. To me, Anderson is really close to being a proven guy. I think Anderson's got the most talent out of this group. I like Golden Tate. We talked about Tate, but then you'd have to want to trade him first, which is definitely a variable, which could happen. We're going younger. Tate's a guy that's going to be 32 years old next season. I love Tate. I mean, he's the ideal guy for yards after the catch. And, that's a great player that can just merge right in with Drew Brees and the Saints system with no problem. I would trade for Golden Tate right now.
I want to welcome in a young lady that we haven't seen too much in here lately. And
that's right.
A very busy schedule.
That's right.
A bunch of good stuff. Miss J-Rod Weems.
J-Rod Weems, welcome to the party.
Literally the
welcome.
only person rooting for 49 right now. I don't know what
Yeah,
happened. She may have her soul somewhere along the way. But,
what'd they do to J-Rod?
We're not going to hate on you. I mean, we're going to hate on your team selection, and when they get their ass kicked in the Super Bowl, you're going to see we told you so, but that's about as far as I go with it.
J-Rod, she might have the eyes for Garoppolo, man. That could be what's going on, man.
I mean,
it could be.
Some people heard he dated a porn star and were very intrigued.
It could happen. That might be it. I don't know. I'm not rooting for Frisco. I'm going with my home. I'm going with Pat. I think Patrick Mahomes, to get off, I know I hope we answered the question about the Saints thing. I think receivers are a starting point, though. I think they got to draft well, obviously. Look for depth. They're going to have to make some tough decisions on certain players like Von Bell, Andrews Pete, different veterans whose contracts are up. But they have they have to nail the draft. They have to get better at wide receiver and add a little on defense to me.
The answer to the question is it's very early in the process.
Yeah,
we have to let a lot of stuff happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Before we get,
yeah, but I like the question, man. I like the Saints.
From one of our new fans in one of the chat rooms.
That's what's up, man. I'm always going to talk about the Saints, man. Pell season's here, man. You bring Saints in the room, and I'm willing to talk, man. That's my thing. But I'll tell you right now, I got to disagree with J-Rod, though. I do not want to see the 49ers win this game. I can't stand the 49ers. I really can't. I'm all about the Chiefs. I'll tell you, you got to root for Andy Reid to me. And Patrick Mahomes, man, is the best quarterback in football, hands down. I love Drew Brees, but Patrick Mahomes is by far the best quarterback in the NFL.
Between team talent and the gap between quarterback, I think there's a vast gap in between the quarterbacks of the two teams, and there's not as much a gap as people perceive between the talents of the two teams.
Yeah.
Frisco has a lot more name value. I mean, you can't deny what the Chiefs have been defensively.
Oh no.
Outside of that 24 points they gave up to Houston in the first quarter, they have been rock solid and playing the best defense anybody.
Which, I mean, you look at Frisco's roster right off the top, right off the bat. What's the most thing, the thing that stands out pretty prominently is, to me, the defensive line. Eric Armstead, Nick Bosa, those guys. To me, what does Patrick Mahomes do? He scrambles, he buys time. I mean, dude, yesterday he had 8 seconds, it felt like, on several plays to throw the football. I mean, if Mahomes can neutralize your pass rush, you know what I'm saying, that's the best part of their team. I mean, wouldn't you say so? I mean, I know they got talent. They got Kittle. They got Sanders, Debo, good offensive line, Richard Sherman, secondary. Garoppolo's a solid quarterback. There's talent all around the team. But to me, the scariest thing about them, besides them being able to manage the clock when they run the ball, is their defensive line. If their defensive line doesn't get pressure, I still think that secondary is susceptible to big plays. And Mahomes, to me, can neutralize that secondary. But like you said, I think the talent is a lot closer on the other parts of the ball. But to me, quarterback, Mahomes and Garoppolo, it's a big gap for me. I mean, I no disrespect to Garoppolo, but I think Mahomes is just in another planet right now.
Garoppolo is not a bad quarterback. He's good. He plays very well in the system they run. But, I mean, Mahomes is just a whole different animal. He's a guy that 10 years from now we may be trying to put him in a GOAT conversation just in the skills and the talent that he has.
He's that good, man. I mean, he's special, dude. Just watching him navigate the field, his arm talent is, like, the best I've ever seen. The fact that, like we always say, the fact that he had pitched in baseball – he can deliver the ball from so many different angles, man. Like baseball, people don't, football, you don't hear that a lot. But like baseball, like second baseman throw at a certain angle, shortstops throw at a different angle, pitchers, catchers.
Throwing at an angle right around defensive lineman.
It's crazy.
Lineman's helmet, where only this one angle would have worked.
Yeah, he can do it. Yeah.
And he times it in between another guy, and it's just like threading a needle. It's like, I don't know, like a LeBron pass in traffic. It's just amazing.
It was. I mean, look. I mean, Mahomes, what he's doing is pretty special. I mean, and it's funny yesterday because I respect Titans, but what they did, they limited Derrick Henry earlier in the game. They kept him at like 69 yards, I think, on a day. But to me, everything's cool with that, huh? That thing. Okay. Oh shit! The cat is interfering with the podcast, y'all. Daisy, get over here. That's what happens when you have a cat in the room where you do podcasts. Hey, Daisy.
Get out of my bag.
Daisy is sniffing in C's bag.
She is coming to live with me.
Officer
Yeah.
Daisy is looking for narcotics.